Hey everyone, it's Monday, and that means it's time for my weekly draft video. We're doing some more Eldritch Moon, and I'll see you guys when the draft fires. Alright, so looks like our rare is not one you really want to be taking. Harmless Offering is not an especially good card. This pack is kind of ugly in general. Prey Upon might be the best card in it, and that's pretty sad. Rise from the Grave is fine. Borrowed Malevolence is fine. Olivia's Dragoon, Make Mischief, Guardian Pilgrims. I mean, these cards are all playable, except for maybe Thirsting Axe and Convolute. And I don't like Blood Mist a whole lot either, or Harmless Offering, obviously. But none of them are very exciting first picks at all. Do I like Prey Upon more than I like Rise from the Grave or Olivia's Dragoon or Borrowed Malevolence? I guess I probably do. You have to end up in a pretty specific deck for Prey Upon to be good, but we could. There's just not really anything else in this pack for us that's very exciting. At least this is removal, even if it's not incredible. Okay, well, getting past the Foul Emissary. Wow, there's a lot of good green cards in here, and a good blue card in Drag Under. Foul Emissary is pretty good. You do, for the Emerge deck especially. Noose Constrictor and Hamlet Captain are both good, and so is Grizzled Angler and Drag Under. Noose Constrictor and Foul Emissary are both, I think, the two best cards in this pack. Although the Angler and the Drag Under are pretty good as well. Question is, do we want... I mean, Guys to the Archives is good too. This is like the opposite of our earlier pack where it was like everything was not very good. In this pack, there's tons of stuff that I would have been fine with first picking. Drag Under, Foul Emissary, Geist, Grizzled Angler, Noose Constrictor. Those are all decent first picks. I think Foul Emissary probably has the most upside. Might wheel this Bloodbriar and end up in the Emerge deck. Drag Under is good too, but I think we're going to take the Emissary. Okay, well here's another good piece for the Emerge deck, and a creature with Emerge. Not the most exciting of the group, but he's fine. Might just be what I take here instead of the Cultist. Just like take all of the Emerge creatures I can. He has a target pretty frequently, and other times he's just a huge creature. So yeah, we'll take him over the Cultist, I think. Even though the Cultist is a card that really enables Emerge. Well, we have another chance to take one here, and I think we do it over like Hamlet Captain and Woodcutter's Grit. So it looks like we're probably blue-green. Blue-green Emerge. So we have two good creatures that Emerge creatures like to eat. So that's good. There's a Boon of Emrakul. It's pretty good. Probably just take the Herald. The Emrakul, Boon of Emrakul's good, but I think we're going to try to go blue-green here. And the Herald's not that much worse than Boon of Emrakul. It's a pretty good card. So yeah, this guy's good. I mean, he replaces himself, and then if you get the chance to sacrifice him, which you probably will, your opponent usually feels pretty bad if they have to kill it. Unless they know for sure you have a creature with Emerge that you can't cast without the help of Foul Emissary, which they could possibly know. Then it's maybe worth killing him, but it's still pretty... It's not really a way you want to be using your removal, unless it's something like Make Mischief, in which case you feel okay about it. Or a Devil Token. So, Prey Upon's pretty good in the Eldrazi Emerge deck. Because you just end up with huge bodies on like turns 4 and 5 that Prey Upon works well with. Alright, so here we have Oath of Liliana. We've kind of dried up on everything else, but there's a really strong white card, so we could end up completely taking a 360 turn from what we were doing, because Guardian Priest is this late is a pretty good sign white's open. Oath of Liliana is a card I've had decent experiences with. I mean, it's not amazing or anything, but it's been fine. It's probably the second card I would take out of this pack after the Priest. Okay, so Stitcher's Graft is an interesting card, especially a deck that has sacrifice synergies, which we could end up with, but it's not entirely sure we're going to end up with the like straight up Emerge deck. It doesn't look like it's very open. We could just take the decent 2-drop here. We could take a card that helps us get Delirium, but it doesn't really look like we're in a color combination that'll be desperate for it. So I think I'm just going to take the Cathar here. Okay, so black is looking pretty good. I mean, Gavinian Hollowed is a pretty strong card. There's also some blue here that can, help us get Delirium, provides a decent body. Wolfkin Bond isn't a card that I hate. Not a huge fan of Thraben Standard Bearer. So I like Gavinian Hallowed a lot, but given the cards we've already taken, I'm kind of leaning towards the Brute, although blue-white's not going to need a lot of Delirium. But I guess there's still a chance we end up blue-green, so I guess I'll take him. Yeah, I mean, here's a decent white card. This came back, which it's not incredible, but given what else was in the pack, I'm kind of surprised to see that. But I think I'll just take the Paladin. It's nothing exciting, certainly, but it's fine. So, are we just like a blue-white deck? Kind of looks that way, right? Looks like we're not quite going to get there on the Emerge. When you pick up an early Foul Emissary and an early Mockery of Nature, I think it's a good idea to try. Good news is Exultant Cultist is fine in any deck. Obviously, he's best in an Emerge deck, but he's fine in any of them. Ooh. Really? Wow. Okay, well, maybe we're not out of green altogether if that guy's still around. We'll kind of stick these here. I mean, we could end up going green-white humans. Like right now, I think our green cards might actually just be better than our blue cards. Our Herald's good, but don't love the rest. Yeah, I'll take a Brute. Borrowed Malevolence. Take that away from somebody. Yeah, I'm not sure what we're going to do exactly. I mean, Nebelgast Herald is our only blue card that I think is even close to how good Noose Constrictor is or Sigardian Priest. And I don't think it's as good as either of them, really. Yeah. So, green-white humans it is. Maybe. We'll just have to see. Oh, I guess we want this guy back. He may not make the cut in the end, but right now, he's fine. Unfortunately, most of the equipment in this format, now I kind of wish I had that equipment, the rare equipment that we saw, because humans really like equipment, especially in the third pack. But that's okay. Impetuous Devils is good. Galvanic Bombardment's probably like the most first pickable card here. Wretched Griff is good if we were to like really try to make this deck happen, but for the most part, I don't think we saw any signs that that deck was going to be open for us because of what was going on. I think we just didn't see. We saw one Emerge creature the whole time, for example. And we only saw we like first picked and like third picked payoffs for Emerge. So we didn't see any after that. I like Tangleclaw Werewolf, but I like Blessed Alliance a little more, especially because we don't have a ton of removal right now. I wouldn't mind getting Fiendbinder back or the Werewolf. Fiendbinder is more likely, I think, but we'll take the removal here. The very flexible removal that can do multiple other things as well. I think this probably will still make our deck. We might pick up some other... Ooh, a second Blessed Alliance. They do get worse in multiples. This is a better thing to sacrifice to a Mockery of Nature. But these do definitely get worse in multiples. Any sort of effect that makes your opponent sacrifice an attacking creature gets worse in multiples. The good news is this one has some added flexibility that makes it not completely useless when your opponent can play around it. So it's either the Desperate Sentry or the Blessed Alliance, I think. Wouldn't mind getting a Guardian of Pilgrims later. Or Aid of the Horrid Swarm wouldn't be bad either. I mean, we could, I guess, if we get all the green Emerge cards and we have stuff like Desperate Sentry and Foul Emissary, I guess we could still get there on a different kind of Emerge deck. Blessed Alliance. Is its power just too much for me to say no to? I think it probably is. I mean, it is worse in multiples, like I said, but It's just a good card. But yeah, your opponent is much more aware. Once they're aware you have one, they start playing around it. And, well, we have 2 Blessed Alliances. This might be the time for Lone Rider. Here's another Id of the Horde Swarm. We also have Faithbearer Paladin. I had a deck. Can't remember if I recorded or made the deck, but I had a deck where I wished I'd taken Lone Rider because I had so many ways to gain life. And I could remedy that here by taking it. There's also a Lashweed Lurker, which is a good card, and we could look at picking up like a Wildly Scarecrows and stuff like that in the 3rd pack to make it so we can play it. There's also an Id of the Horde Swarm, but, you know, I'm leaning towards just taking Lone Rider. We already have 3 ways to gain 3 or more life in a turn. So, and then once he transforms, he's a very scary thing. Wouldn't mind getting back Woodland Patrol or Prey Upon, but we'll take the Lone Rider here. So Ironclad Slayer doesn't look like it does a whole lot in our deck right now, and it might not ever. We don't really like Lunarch Mantle a whole lot. The Slayer is a human, so we may pick up some payoffs for that in the final pack. Crossroads Consecrator is a human payoff, but not the most exciting of human payoffs. But he's fine. I mean, that's really our only choices here. We don't want Waxing Moon. Don't want Lunarch Mantle. Borrowed Grace isn't terrible. There is some enchantment-based removal we could pick up that it can get back out of my graveyard. But I think I'm going to take the Consecrator. Sigarda's Aid, huh? Yeah, I mean, you know, if you get this guy and that pump spell we just saw, that can be something. I could probably just take Dawngryff here. Unsubstantiate's pretty good, but Dawngryff's better than the Consecrator. Thermo Alchemist is also good if we were in that deck, but we don't appear to be. So we'll just go for the flyer here. And so here we have another choice, and even though this isn't a human, I think we just take another Dawngryff over the Woodland Patrol. Another Cultist, so, but I think that ship sailed. We've seen a few creatures with Emerge in this pack, so I kind of regret moving out of that deck, but I think our colors seem open enough that we'll be okay. Of course, as I say that, we get stuck with a Crossroads Consecrator. I'm probably going to take the removal spell over the sideboard card over another one of those. Spectral Reserves I don't hate. Field Creepers, whatever, but I think we'll take the reserves. We've got some flying all of a sudden. Yeah. Things do seem to be drying up in green a little bit for us. I guess we could move into white-blue, which is seriously worth considering, given that we have some decent blue cards already. So let's think about that. Stick those in there for now. We'll take the most playable card away from somebody. Oh, awesome. I do not mind picking him up there. But yeah, let's stick the green stuff over here for now. Interesting. You're also green. I mean, white-blue, you know, we do have one of the payoffs for spirits, and Spectral Reserves plus this is kind of nice. And we do have 2 other flyers already, so Skies looks like a reasonable proposition, I think. More so than Emerge does. We'll just see what we're given in this last pack. Okay, well, I think we take this. We have, you know, we have the Cultist, we have the Sentry, and if we end up playing green, then we also have Foul Emissary. So I think we can play him easily enough that we'll take him. It'll just depend on what the 3rd pack gives us, really. Like what our second color is. White's definitely our primary color. Well, Scour the Laboratory is definitely the best of those cards. We don't have an easy way to get Delirium, but it's not terrible without Delirium. I mean, we do have Sorcery, Instant, Creature, Land, you know, going around, and then Noose Constrictor can help us. But that would be blue-green, and I don't think we end up blue-green at all. I think we either end up blue-white or green-white, so. Oh, yeah. So we actually wouldn't have the cultist for them. We just have Desperate Sentry and Foul Emissary if we ended up green-blue. That's not terrible, though. I'll take away a Wailing Ghoul from someone. It's at least a playable card. Sort by color. I think Otherworldly Outburst is pretty playable, too, especially in the spells deck. Okay, so this is another good thing to sacrifice to creatures with Emerge, but I'm not completely sold on the idea that we're playing green. Although I do think our green cards are probably just better right now. But there's also a Spectral Shepherd, which is a pretty nice spirit payoff. Being able to tap things down all the time would be great. There's also Compelling Deterrence and Drace's Scrutiny, which are both good. So this is sort of going to determine... I mean, the thing is, with Spectral Shepherd, we'll probably play it either way. So it might be the safe pick. It's going to be better if we can play blue, but if we can't, we'll play it. We're only going to play Harvest Hand if we play... Well, no, never mind. We'll play it no matter what, too, won't we? We have plenty of humans in white already, so... Harvest Hand has synergy with both. Spectral Shepherd's just a good flyer. This is a hard choice. Both of these will play no matter what. I think I'm going to take the Shepherd. I mean, we only have 2 creatures with Emerge. It's not like we really got there on Emerge cards. But it is looking like blue-green might be the better... I mean, white-green might be the better choice. So, we'll think about that. I say that because of Hinterland Logger here. Niblis of Dusk is fine, too. We just don't have a ton of ways of getting it going. Ongoing Investigation is good, but you really only want to play it if you have both colors that it cares about. So I think I'm just going to take a Logger here, and I think we're just going to shift into a mostly aggressive white-green humans deck that can pound out a couple of huge Eldrazi late if we need to. Yeah, there's a Rabid Bite, which signifies to me that that's the right choice. Arrow Falconwrath's nice, but other than that, this pack's pretty bad, so... Rabid Bite it is. Alright, so Hinterland Logger again, or an Intrepid Provisioner. We have tons of humans. We do have plenty of humans. We have Quilled Wolf here too. There's also Cult of the Waxing Moon. How many humans do we have exactly? We have 1, which may not get played. He's kind of on the chopping block. 2, when you're not flipped. 3, 4, 5, 6... 7. I guess there's only 7. Just taking another strong 2 is good. Hinterland Logger and Quilled Wolf are both really good 2-drops. I think I'm going to go with another Logger. We're just basically shifting into an aggro deck. I mean, and that's fine with me. Prey Upon seems fine in this deck, although not incredible. It's going to be good with these guys. These 3, really. Ooh, Obsessive Skinner. Also, Ulvenwald Mysteries, which is kind of a ridiculous card. It's obviously at its best when you have clue synergies, but even without them, it can be crazy. Obsessive Skinner does give us another human, and right now we don't actually have any human payoffs, so we just passed one that we could have taken. There's also Pious Evangel, who is nice, but I think we'd rather take the aggressive creature. I think it's either the Skinner or the Mysteries. The Mysteries can give us some real, card advantage. That's for sure. Like, how well are we going to get Delirium? He's fine even without Delirium, but we're not really going to get it very easily, so I think we take the Mysteries here. Okay, Silver Fur Partisan isn't the worst thing. Does sort of incentivize us to get some more kill spells. Oh, actually it works well with Prey Upon and Rabid Bite, doesn't it? Target of an instant or sorcery spell. Yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty good for our deck. We have 2 fight cards, so Scob is obviously really good, and so is Sleep Paralysis. But we'll take the Partisan here. Ooh, Graph Mole. Now I'd wish I'd taken some more clue stuff, but we do have 1 Ulvenwald Mysteries, and that's enough of a reason to take it. So Graph Mole it is. Yeah, our deck has a super aggressive curve, which is nice. Okay, Solitary Hunter or Expose Evil. Expose Evil gives us another reason to care about clues. Like, these 2 guys like Expose Evil. This gives us another sweet werewolf. That's a pretty good card. I think you're out at this point, buddy. Because either of these cards I would play before I'd play that. Root Out's a good sideboard card, but I think we take either Expose Evil or Solitary Hunter. And I think I want the Hunter. Expose Evil does give us some pseudo removal, I guess. We still have enough life gain that I think we want to play Lone Rider, incidentally. Harvest Hand, yes please. Came around anyway, and we have tons of humans, and we have 2 creatures who don't mind eating a Harvest Hand. So that's good. Okay, aim high. You know, it has a little bit of extra synergy when you've got Silver Fur Partisan. But I think maybe we'd just rather have Unruly Mob. Maybe. You know, it wouldn't be... I'd be pretty happy if we got Intrepid Provisioner back, because that means this on its own can transform once it gets to +3/+3. But anyway, yeah, I'll take the mob. I don't know if it's going to make the deck, but we'll take it. So, just unless I had like 6 Lone Riders, I still wouldn't take that card. But it is worth noting that if you end up with several, maybe even 4 Lone Riders is enough to play Chaplain's Blessing. We'll take the good sideboard card here. Ooh, wow. Dauntless Cathar is still here, and the Cult is still here. Cathar it is. Another good creature for getting eaten by our 2 guys with Emerge. Alright, well, I think this deck ended up coming together pretty well. You know, if I cut Faithbearer Paladin, that probably means... Oh, wait, how much life do you gain me? Oh, God. Wow. Yeah, I thought it was 2, but it is 3, so that's another way to flip our Lone Rider. So maybe we can cut our Paladin. It is probably our worst creature. Our Mob might be worse. But we have to cut 3 cards, so we can cut the Mob and the Paladin. That gives us 3 ways to gain life. Too bad we didn't get the Nearheath Chaplain. That would give me a really sweet way to gain life. So, I think we probably do lose Faithbearer Paladin. We have 3 ways to gain the necessary life for Lone Rider. He's good with combat tricks too, I guess. Crossroads Consecrator doesn't hate him. It's also good with equipment. We didn't, unfortunately, get True Faith Sensor, which is one of the better equipments, but this is pretty sweet, I think, especially when you have 2 guys with Emerge. Yeah. We'll lose the Mob too. Spectral Reserves only gains us 2 life, right? Yeah. I don't know if we want it anymore. We didn't end up in a really skies-oriented deck. Our deck's more aggressive now. So I think we can probably lose it. Although it's worth noting that this plus this doing 1 damage is enough for it to flip. Because it doesn't need... It just gain 3 life anyway whatsoever, and it transforms. I think Prey Upon's good enough. Maybe. Graphmol's good with it. Solitary Hunter, you're both good with it. Maybe it's not good enough in our deck, actually, now that I'm looking at it. It does work well with Silver Fur Partisan, but... Yeah, I think we lose Prey Upon. Tons of Creatures is good. We have these 2 cards, which want to eat creatures. We also have Ulvenwald Mysteries, which is... When you have that, you definitely want to have tons and tons of creatures. I think we still leave Lone Rider in. I think having 3 ways to gain life is enough to make him worth it. I mean, he can still really effectively block all the 1 toughness creatures in the format in a worst case scenario. We only end up with 1 human payoff, but that's okay. All right, so let's add our lands. Actually, let me sort by color first, because it's not going to give me an accurate... Because those are both basically green. No double green anywhere. Or double white, so this is probably fine. Let me look at the curve real quick and see if... Now it's pretty well spread across both. So yeah, it's going to have to be something like 9-8 one way or another. You have more creatures. No, we don't. We have 3 2-drop creatures and 3 2-drop white creatures. So, yeah, 9/8's good. All right, well, I think we ended up with a pretty sweet deck. We'll just have to see. I'll see you guys in the first match, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.